And we are back once again. Welcome everybody to the Figure Mania show. I am joined today by awesome people, and I got to give a special happy birthday to Kyle Kaiju Canuck. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, Harold. I turned 30 today, and actually relevant. My wife got me this for my birthday, so yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome, cool. And we have first time on the show. We have Chris from Toho Kingdom. So what's going on, my friend? Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, no problem.
Awesome.
I'm here for Jared.
Yes, sir. We'll get to him.
Aren't we all?
Yes. And then we have Mike Monsters, the second, actually the second, the one of two people that were involved in Godzilla X Kong.
Very little. way less than somebody else in this room.
Okay.
Talking me up a lot. Rigby did more than I did.
Yes. And we have Michael Shipman, the Articulation Series. What's going on, sir?
Hello.
Okay, he's driving right now. Be careful while you're driving, okay? Yes, and our special guest today, we have the one, the only, Jared Krichevsky. Thank you so much for coming. What's going on, my friend?
Hello, everybody.
Awesome. Very cool. So let's acknowledge some people in the chat first. So we have we have 6 people, so more will come and things. So we have Michael Nicholas, what's going on? We have Goji Jojo. Okay, we're doing great. Okay, so we just lost a few people. Okay, I'm sure they'll be back. Yeah. So Jared, thank you so much for coming, man. I mean, I've been ever since I started following your work and things, and man, it's been very interesting, and I've really wanted to get a chance to talk to you about your career, about geek stuff and things, you know what I mean? And just tell us, like, how you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Can't complain.
Yeah,
it's been a long year, but things are picking up again.
That's cool. That's very cool. Yeah. So, okay, now before we get into the questions and stuff, this is more of a chat, guys, not like an interview. This is like a chat with Jared. Alrighty. So just want to make that clear. I'll change the title later for the video and stuff. So we have Patrick. What's up, everyone? What's going on? Okay, so Evolved King, what's going on? Thank you for coming. Alrighty, and then Childish Landinos, still hoping Legendary picks up Monarch G Team, Chris. Okay, so we hopefully we'll see more of that if that develops.
That's a story in itself. So
yes, sir. Cool. So Jared, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what were you like as a kid? Your upbringing and stuff.
Oh man. Well. Let's see. I was the youngest kid of 4 half sisters. So both my parents were previously married. They got together. They had me, and so all of my sisters were older.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of had their own lives and their own cliques and their own friends, and they were already off living their lives when I came around. So for me, I grew up in Colorado, so I was surrounded by trees and deer and owls and lots of nature. And I pretty much had kind of the run of things to myself. So I watched a lot of movies and I played a lot of games, and I just kind of immersed myself in stories. So always, just comic books, video games, toys, you name it. That was me.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
A lot of people in this room, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like we're all geeks. You know what I mean? So
yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, Jared, what is the breakfast of champions for you, sir?
Well, I guess it depends on like where you like the context of breakfast matters, right?
Sure.
Like, what kind of is this like your daily, got a fuel, or is this like this is a massive meal that like you get to celebrate? I don't know.
Yeah.
If it's a big meal, man, you can't go wrong with like pancakes, eggs, bacon, all the goods,
Sure.
toast with butter, the whole thing. Good cup.
Yeah. That when you're working, there's just a curious question. When you're working on a project, how often are you like getting McDonald's breakfast?
Well, not often actually, because it's just me in my office, my garage here.
Yeah.
So there's I don't get that luxury of like going on set or like any of that stuff. It's just me hanging out.
Yeah. That's cool.
Every day is just me and the dogs. So
how many dogs? Okay, that was going to be one of my
yeah, I think that was one of them.
Yeah. How many dogs do you have?
I have 3.
3. I got 4. Yeah.
Okay, so you got me beat.
Yeah.
Well, 3 is too many. 3 is too much. Like, but 4 I can't imagine.
Yeah. Like I never been like a dog person until I came to Taiwan, and I met my wife and things, and like and then we found Chica. She's like right over here, and we adopted her and things. So yeah, Chica, come here, Chica. She wants mommy. Don't worry, I'll show her later. Yeah, so that's pretty cool, man. Yeah. So okay, so now we know that you're a pet person. What were you a fan of growing up as a kid?
Man, well, the big thing was Transformers. I was a massive Transformers fan.
Me too.
Well, and it was, it was pretty much I had the run of the 80s, so
Sure.
I was like that peak audience that they were selling stuff to. So it was Ninja Turtles, Transformers,
Yes.
Batman, Star Wars, all of them. And, but Transformers was like the big one for a long, long time.
What was your first Transformers? What was your first figure?
Oh man, I don't even remember. I do remember having Megatron, the one that turned into the gun.
Yeah, like my first. I remember very clearly. My first Transformer was Soundwave.
Oh yeah, the boombox.
The boombox.
Yeah, that one was awesome.
I thought he was so cool, but this was like before I saw the cartoon, so I had no idea that he was a bad guy or anything like that.
He just like, this is rad.
Yeah, this is rad. Like I could transform him and things, and then I started seeing the cartoon. I was like, oh, he's a bad guy, but he was so cool. Like, yeah, and then
and the cassettes turned into robots too. Like that's that's that next level of thinking that like so that's why I was a fan. Just
totally
that stuff.
Yeah, and then my second Transformer was Optimus Prime.
Yeah, you gotta have Optimus.
Yeah, and like man, like I don't have a lot. I don't have like all the variants of Optimus, but I have quite a bit. I did pick up the 2 DLX Optimus Primes. I'll show them to you later and things. But yeah, man, like Optimus Prime, he's my favorite, and then followed by Megatron, Grimlock, Jetfire. I don't have an Omega Supreme. Like I got to get my hands on an Omega.
Yeah. Cool. I really got serious about grabbing them all during Beast Wars because that was like that. Beast Wars locked me in. So I've got a lot of it's Beast Wars, and then there was like the Beast Wars versions that came after that where they were a little bit more machined.
Sure. Transmetal, right?
Yeah, like Primal turned it, had a surfboard.
Yeah, Transmetal. Yeah.
Sick. That one was super sick. So I had that one. I've got my Unicron up there somewhere.
I saw that too. I was like, oh man, you got that Unicron.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I haven't really done the tour yet, but
yeah,
there you go. There's some of them.
Yeah, that Unicron is huge. Like I was in Japan when they first showed the prototype. I couldn't believe how big that thing was.
I love that it was that big.
Wow.
It's because it demanded it.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, like if it's going to be Unicron, it's got to be huge. It's even bigger than Metroplex, the Titan class Metroplex. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and I had something on my mind, and I just lost it. But okay. Oh, now I remember. Okay, your thoughts on Transformers the movie when it came out, Jared?
Oh man, it was that's peak boyhood.
Yeah.
I remember Ba Weep Grana Weep Ninny Ba, like that. that has stuck with me probably more than any of my formal education.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll remember that long into my 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Were you shocked seeing Optimus Prime get axed? Because I
was pissed.
I was pissed. I was heartbroken, and I was teary. I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Like the first time I've ever seen a hero get axed. You know what I mean? And like it was so shocking. You know what I mean? Like,
and Rodimus was not a good replacement for him.
No, it wasn't.
At all. First of all, I hated him. Just because
he's better as Hot Rod.
Yeah. He was all talk, and Optimus would lead through action. And say the right stuff, but so Rodimus just being a hotshot, it irked me. It's like,
Totally.
I just remember the shuttle scene, how they couldn't hit a Decepticon from 10 feet away with no cover.
Yeah.
They all just got smoked so easily. Prowl going out with that punk ass scavenger, whatever his name was. One shot. Ugh. Beautiful animation though.
Oh,
for its time it was good, so yeah. But going back to Transformers Prime, I mean, that was like one of the best modern best cartoon like reiterations. Like if someone asked me what are the best Transformers cartoons, like clearly G1 is like, it's golden, right? It's like holy, right? But right behind it is Transformers Prime, and I'm so sad that they ended that early, So like I don't know if you ever picked this up, Kyle.
Yeah, I used to have. That's the first edition.
This is the RED Optimus. Hasbro was doing.
That never made it to Canada.
No way, really.
Yeah. We Canadians get shafted on a lot of things, and that was one of them.
Oh man, yeah. Because I have this guy, and I also have the Megatron that goes with him too, and things. So.
Yeah, that one didn't make it either.
Oh, that's too bad, man. Yeah.
Tragic.
Yeah. So Jared, I'm guessing you're a lifelong collector. So what do you have in my collection? I have like way more Godzillas and Transformers, right?
Sure.
Like, what do you have like more of in your collection?
Well, it's quickly turning into Godzilla Town. I have a pretty wide collection, but the Transformers is probably still outflanking the rest.
Ah, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. They've had to travel with me for quite a while, so
yeah.
they were boxed up.
Robot? Do you keep them in robot mode or do you keep them in vehicle mode?
I used to go through and change them every year. You just open it up again and then kind of I remember, and then switch them up. But lately I haven't. So they're in whatever state I thought looked the coolest for them.
Yeah, like for me, like I keep them in robot mode. Like a lot of times I just buy a figure and I just don't even transform them. I just care, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I like one line that's really good at that is the MDLX by 3 zeros. Like they're non-transformable figures, but they look beautiful. If you don't have any of them, I recommend you should pick them up, man, because they're beautiful. Yeah,
3 Zero does amazing work.
Yeah.
I remember when they were. I have a few when they were made of die-cast metal when they had the really heavy parts. Like I really like that. I like
that was like the first edition of like their masterpiece, right? Like 1. I had MP. I still have MP4. That thing's huge, and it's got like some diecast parts too to it and things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's so cool. We got a lot in common.
Yeah.
All right, and you touched upon video games. So, what were you playing growing up? Like, what did you have?
Yeah, like my mom, she didn't want to get me a Nintendo because she knew Super Nintendo was coming out. So, I was begging for Nintendo. My best friend had a Nintendo. Everyone has a Nintendo, and I was not allowed to get it. So I had a Game Boy, and that was my kind of entry into video games. So Link's Awakening was the first game that I ever remember playing between that and like Super Mario Brothers and Tetris and all those things.
Yeah.
So that was my entry into it. And then Super Nintendo came along and it was like, wow.
Super Nintendo was so good.
Yeah. I still have mine.
Wow.
Even though it's useless, and I have another one with all the games on it.
Yeah.
Man, I love that system.
Like I when Nintendo and Sega came out, I actually picked up the Sega first.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And but then all my other friends were picking up Nintendos, you know what I mean? And I was like, when I was going over to their house and stuff like that, and I was like, oh man, I go, Dad, can you get me a Nintendo? He was so pissed. I was like, what? I just got this.
I had the opposite problem because I had the Nintendo and all my friends were on Genesis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was mad because the Sega Aladdin game was much better than the Super Nintendo. Famously
infinitely better. Infinitely better.
Yeah, so much better.
Same thing with the Lion King too. The Lion King Sega is better.
Yeah. Very
even RoboCop versus Terminator was better on the Genesis.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
We're sweating in millennial.
Yeah. I had both Genesis and Nintendo, but didn't have Super Nintendo for a long time. I actually got a Super Nintendo after Nintendo 64.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they just recently released pictures for that Super Godzilla. I was talking to Michael and Kyle about Super Godzilla, and like I never saw.
Oh my god,
that never came to Canada. You know what I mean? So like, but it wasn't until Godzilla Monsters Melee showed up, but that was solely for the Nintendo GameCube. I got the Nintendo GameCube just for that game, and that game was just freaking phenomenal. I love that game so much. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of GameCube, I was trying to remember this, but there was a game where you were like construction equipment and you could jump and like destroy towns. Does anybody remember that at all? I don't remember. I've been trying to think of this.
Not sure.
Not sure. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I had to shoot the shot. So
cool. Alrighty. So now, do you game now?
Not as much now. So now it's rare that I get to.
Yeah.
So it's usually relegated to Smash with the kid, playing Smash Brothers.
Yeah. What do you have? PS5 or Xbox?
I still have a PS4, and so I'm like already behind.
That's all right. I mean, I just this year I just picked up a PS5. You know what I mean? So I finally jumped onto it and things. So it's pretty good. I like it. And I mean, there isn't. I'm still waiting for that one game that like I'm waiting for. Like announcing that like this newest Transformers game reactivated and stuff like that. But like, where is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, so we'll see.
That's kind of why I held off. Is just. I was like, man, they put that out fast. Like, maybe make some games for it. It's just, Yeah, it was just weird for me.
Yeah, playing the PS4 Godzilla game on the PS5 though is wonderful. It's a smooth experience. It's a smooth experience.
Yeah, it's smoother. Like I was playing games and especially if you have like a high def TV that's capable of 4K. Like you notice the transition. Like I was playing Batman all over again, like Arkham Asylum on PS4 versus Arkham Asylum again on the PS5 because like it's compatible with those with that. Man, like what a difference! What a noticeable difference! Yeah, it's phenomenal. Yeah. So, Jared, in your massive collection, what do you have as your grails? Like, if your house was burning down, like, what's something that you have to absolutely save?
Yeah, I guess the one is the Shogun Godzilla that I have up there. That's yeah, you can see it up there, just the silhouette of it.
Oh, okay.
That one is a family heirloom. So
oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's the one that I would save and then pass on to the kiddo and all that stuff. So
Sure.
that's the if house burning. That's the one I grabbed.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm like on a ship or something. Tilting over.
I got the 8-inch one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but the market value for the big one has really exploded over the past 5 years. There he is.
Yeah,
he's got the switch, and he's got. I'm not gonna shoot it, but he's got the rocket fire.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of charm to it.
Yeah, it's wonderfully vintage.
Yeah,
very cool. Yeah. So, how did you arrive at the decision to become a professional artist, a concept artist?
Yeah, I mean, it was I'm in my late 20s, and I was working a dead-end retail job and trying to figure out what I was gonna, what the next stage of my life was gonna look like. And yeah, I explored a lot of different options. I was trying to figure, a lot of stuff out. And I was working at a bookstore, and I kept coming across these 3D Art Masters books. And I because I worked at the bookstore, I knew all the books, but I hadn't seen these yet. I hadn't really dived through them. And I remember looking at them going like, holy moly, this is what people are doing with 3D these days. It's really come across, and or it's really advanced now. And I just thought like I want to learn to do that.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, like if I could do it all over again, I would definitely learn that. And like if I knew I was going to be deep into figures and stuff like that, I would have learned like how to sculpt my own figures, 3D print them and stuff like that, and like design my own stuff. You know what I mean? Like Kyle Wadaga. Like I wish I had his skill. You know what I mean? But
well, like that's and that's the joy too. Is that you can pick it up at any stage in your life.
Sure.
To learn. So it's not too late.
It's not too late. Yeah, but like I got a lot on my plate already because like I own my own business. Like I have my own school and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So like I'm still busy, and I still have to have time for my family and things, and that family comes first. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Yeah. So when this journey started for you, Jared, were there any artists that inspired you?
About when I went to Noman. So I to continue the story, I applied to a school called Noman because I'd done my research on all of these different schools, and Noman just kind of stood out to me, and I was like, okay, 2 years, and I'll get my certificate. I can be trained in this stuff, and I can go out and get work. And during that time at Noman, it was it's a really intensive class, so about midway through the term, I met an artist who was teaching class in entertainment design, and that was Jared Morantz. And Jared was teaching the second half of the class. So the first half was one artist, and then Jared came in and taught the last 5 weeks. And he put his work up on the screen, and that was like oh my God, like holy cow, you can do this for a living. Jared shared his techniques and gave us critiques and all that stuff. And one day he asks, he says, "Hey, the studio that I'm working at, we're looking for interns. Is anyone interested?" And my hand shot right up.
Yeah,
right here, dude. And that was it. I gave Jared my info, and a week later, I was sitting in a design studio, in a very serious design studio, surrounded by like the best, and it was crazy. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool, man.
Yeah. And it took about 2 years, both to finish Gnomon and to like get good, because my work was just not professional at the level that these guys were doing it. So it took me a few years, post education, to like where everything started clicking.
Oh, okay. Just want to mention to you guys, the power went out at Kyle's house.
Oh,
oh, no, man. Oh, man. So hopefully that can come back on soon. Yeah, shit. Okay. All right. Well, happy birthday, Kyle.
Boy, the gifts just keep coming to him today.
Yeah.
Wow. Cannot catch a break in Canada, man.
Seriously.
That's why I moved to Taiwan. Cool. So, Jared, what was your first professional gig, and what was going through your mind when you got it?
Yeah, it was actually from a studio called Zoic, and it was just a random kind of call that I got, or email, and it was for their series Once Upon a Time. And the job was designing Jiminy Cricket for that. And so that was my first like professional job where I like designed the Cricket. And then I gave them kind of a base block out in ZBrush, and they liked it, they approved it, and he made it into the show.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, and that was so kind of my first experience on the job was doing like fan art,
Yeah. Awesome.
And, yeah. It was really cool. It was crazy to get to like, oh wow, there it is. They actually took it. And
yeah. Oh man, that's got to be such a good feeling, man.
It is. It's like the first time I got a few kind of yeses to some designs I was doing, it was just like elation. There was no feeling like it, especially because I had bombed out a few times too. So by the time I started getting some yeses, I was like, yeah, I'm on the right track. I'm getting wins,
Is it difficult, like, starting out? I'm assuming, like, just to get work.
Yeah, I mean, the landscape today is much different than it was when I, 14 years ago. So it is just massively different landscape. But even then, it was still hard to break in, So there's a lot of talent out there, and a lot of very deserving talent as well. And there sometimes it's just a little bit of luck in there.
Sure. Very nice, cool. So in your professional career, what have been some of like your favorite pieces that you've worked on professionally?
Yeah, the hits, man. I guess, I mean, the Ninja Turtles, just because that was a bucket list job.
Yeah.
So that was like the first like big property that I'd gotten to work on that I was a fan of. Holy crap, this is happening, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the Ninja Turtles, Peach Dragon is one that I still love very much. The website.
So guys, this is for you in the chat. This is the website that you can check out Jared's professional work here. So you got a long list. Like when I was going through this, I was like, I couldn't believe how much you've worked on. It's like so many things that you've worked on. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to me too.
I didn't get to finish watching this movie, Megan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good movie. I really like it. And you designed the look of this doll.
Yeah. I did some initial exploration, and then I worked on it in 2018, and a whole series of stuff happened between 2018 and when the movie came out, and so I was really worried it wasn't going to make it at all. And really? Then I got to see kind of like how Megan's look evolved.
Yeah.
Through the process. So it was a big learning experience.
Sure. And it's Megan, not Mithrigan, because like I see people like online, it's called Mithrigan.
They can call it whatever they want. I like Mithrigan. It's cool with me.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff here that you've worked on, and like, where's the Ninja Turtles, Godzilla versus Kong, Pete's Dragon. This I haven't seen the movie. Here's the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, there you go.
On both, right?
Yeah, yep.
That's so cool, man. I'm sad that they didn't continue with it. Like like between the first one and the second one, I really liked the second one because it was like the cartoon brought to life and things. You know what I mean? But like, it didn't. I guess it didn't perform well at the box office. I'm assuming. Is that what happened?
Yeah. I mean, it got its share of criticism. So yeah, it was what it was. It's the Bay Turtle universe.
I think that's the thing. Like when people I think they were like saturated with Michael Bay at the point. Like, oh
yeah,
God.
Yeah, and it just kind of like it was another, and it all had his stylings as well.
It did, yeah.
So it just felt like the exact same thing. That you're right, we were saturated already.
Sure.
So, it was just timing.
Yeah. But, and I've heard kind of unfavorable things like from the actors who worked on this film too. Like the turtles themselves, they weren't treated very nicely on set and things too.
Yeah. So, and they also had multiple scripts that they were working from. It was it was kind of a mess.
It was a mess. Yeah. That's all right.
It's hard to make a movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's harder than people think it is. I'm
insanely difficult. It's insanely difficult.
Yeah. So, when did you become a Godzilla fan, Jared?
That goes back to the Shogun toy, because I would visit family in Kansas, and I was the youngest of all my cousins, and so they all, when we would go visit my grandmother's together, they would get kind of like first dibs on all the toys, and they all wanted that Godzilla. They all wanted that Godzilla because it was the coolest thing. Everything else that my grandparents had was like Lincoln Logs and like old school, here's a wood cart, kind of stuff.
Sure.
But the Godzilla was the coolest thing that my grandparents had. And they had gotten it as a promotional toy. Because they were working at Pepsi. And so they got this toy, and it was just the coolest thing. And eventually, my cousins outgrew it, and I got a hold of it, and my grandmother gave it to me. Of all the cousins. So it was like a big deal that I got to keep that Godzilla. So
that's cool.
It's been my like totem, and that is the first ever experience I remember interacting with Godzilla. So that toy came first, and then I discovered the movies, following that. So that was like my discovery.
What was the first movie?
I don't remember because I can't specifically remember because it was, they were playing back to back on TV. So it kind of strikes me as like this big string. It felt like one big long Godzilla movie. I would watch it, back to back when when it would play on repeat on TV back in the days, because we didn't have a lot of options, viewing wise. So you're gonna watch the Monster Fest back to back.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I feel like that those typically played Son of Godzilla and Destroy All Monsters.
Right,
I think Mothra versus Godzilla, and Terra Mecha Godzilla were playing. I think those are the usual ones that played through, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Jared, speaking on Godzilla, your first Mecha Godzilla was in Ready Player One. How did you, like, I was reading like a little bit of the excerpt there, like on creating Mecha Godzilla, but for the sake of the audience, how did creating that version come together, and were there any guidelines that you had to follow, like when making
that? Ready Player One came in to the shop, and it was awesome, man, because I was sitting with all my buddies, and we just got to do crazy stuff for several months.
Yeah.
All kinds of designs for various characters and creatures, and we just have free reign. And occasionally they would tell us, like, hey, we want you to do XYZ character. So because it was this massive like IP project, the lawyers were very involved with that movie.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, because you had IP everywhere. That book is insane, and and he kind of wrote it to be unfilmable.
Yeah,
the lawyers proved him wrong. So they managed to get all these IPs, and everyone had specifics that they wanted for them.
Sure.
Kind of like a bullet point list of, we want this, this, and this. So I got assigned Mecha Godzilla. And it was a good get. I knew he was going to be at the end of the movie, and he was going to have a big part in it. So my first few options looked more lizard like. It didn't feel correct,
Okay.
And then there you go. So it doesn't feel quite right yet, but I was just smashing stuff together, just trying to see what would work. And like that one, because sometimes they'll tell you, like, do Mecha Godzilla, but then do one that's like swing for the fences on one, right? So that's like this one right there. Some of them are just like, okay, here you go. Here's one with shoulder rockets. I'm doing my best to kind of like give them as many ideas as possible.
Sure.
And the feedback came in, that they were liking everything, but they wanted it to look like Noriyoshi Ohai's poster.
Oh yeah. I have that one behind me.
Actually. Yeah. And so his poster, got the Spielberg kind of sign off, and you can only see it in the front, like 3/4.
Sure.
So you only get like the head and the arm, like you get like just that much of it.
Yeah.
It said, we like this one. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like when I was reading up on it, it's like, oh yeah, they wanted it like a Orai Noriyoshi. I was like, wait a minute, I got that Mecha Godzilla. And yeah, that totally makes sense, because in the movie, like, his arms kind of look like this, right?
Yeah. Yep. The missile fingers, and all the techie greebling on the arms. So I kind of just see. I wish I had that figure. So I kind of just took what I had done and kind of slapped that on top, and
sure,
and that's what got the sign off. So
how many iterations did you go through, like, until like they arrived at the final one?
It was like 10, I think.
Really, eh? That many?
Yeah. A lot of times I'm doing stuff in the dark, where they don't tell you everything.
Sure.
That's going on,
Mhm.
and so I'm just like, okay, how about this? How about this? Yeah, that's the one. Those are the two that they went with, that they liked.
Yeah, this is the final one, right?
Yeah. The other one is the final.
This one here?
Yep.
Oh,
It's
okay.
got
Yeah.
Segmented plating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
there is a bootleg figure out there. A friend of mine in Malaysia. You have it. Oh, I got to get my hands on that figure.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
There it is. Yeah, nice. All the little Greebling and I have a couple of these bootlegs, sitting around.
Ah, cool. Yeah, I got to get my hands on one of those because there's a rumor that this was like a NECA. It was like a prototype NECA, and that never came to be. But
I've heard that. I don't know if that's the truth or not. So
sure, yeah, that's cool.
But I have at least 3 or 4 of them because I had to buy them. I had to get them.
Sure, of course, absolutely, man. I mean, if I were you, I'd definitely get that too, for sure. Yeah. And then but your reaction. We want you to do Mecha Godzilla. Like, what's going through your mind about that? Were you like, oh my god, Mecha Godzilla?
Yeah, I mean, it's you get all the flood of emotion of like, holy shit, and then like, holy shit, there's both a weight that sits on you, and then also, but the excitement is more. The excitement is more potent. So you're like, okay, well, there's pressure, but I gotta just, I want to get it. So
yeah,
you just try your best.
Yeah, but man, this Mecha Godzilla is so charming. I was like when I walked out of that theater, I was like, oh my god, that was like the money. That was like what I paid for. What I mean? See that Mecha Godzilla, that ending battle.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, and then I was like, I hope they make a figure, and they did. But it's a bootleg. Who cares? I still gotta get on that one, man. Now, the next time you would make, you would come back to Mecha Godzilla is in this movie right here. One of my favorite movies, in the Godzilla lore. This one. Can you tell me how you got that? How you got the gig for this?
Yeah. So it was actually a couple years later.
Mm-hmm.
I was working at Legacy Effects, and I was working on various projects for them. Over the span of a few months, and they kind of came around to my desk one day and were like, hey, Godzilla vs. Kong is coming in, and we want you to do Mecha Godzilla. And it was literally like, just like tap tap, hey, by the way, you're going to do this. And so I was like, well, that's funny because I already did one, and so I was kind of laughing about it, and I fully expected like nothing to come of it because, what are the odds that I'm going to get two Mecha Godzillas on screen, together, and so I just kind of had resigned that like, there's no way this is happening, but I'm just going to do the work,
Sure.
Because when you do these projects, there's a lot of other artists working on the same character. They do what's called a bake-off. They get a lot of artists to work on one character and kind of pick the best ones.
And you won.
Yeah, well, and so I'm a little competitive, and they liked the first one that I did. Because I had showed some of the innards, some of the mechanics on the inside, and they had liked. I think if you scroll down there, let's see. Yeah, so the green one right below the big guy.
This one here?
Yeah, all those guys. So that was my first pass
Uh-huh.
on Mecha G. And I think if you click on it, there you go.
Oh, okay.
So that was it. It was very much a robotic Godzilla. Proportions and all.
Yeah.
And, they liked it, but they wanted the silhouettes to be different.
Oh, okay.
The only real reference they had given us was stealth fighters. So they gave us a lot of freedom. They said, we like these images. We don't know why, but also do your own thing. So they, I had to work lightning fast because this was, a massive project. So I took a week to work on it.
Oh.
And by the end of the week, I had outputted about 40 renders of this. And, I was just I was moving fast, man, because I was just like, oh my God, 1 week to do another Mechagodzilla. So yeah, that was my first pass, and it's very much just Godzilla's proportions. But you can see kind of the skeleton of where I would build out,
Sure.
So I presented it, they presented this with some other work that some other artists had done. Simon Weber and Darnell Isom and Matt Millard and Kyle Brown. They had all done, some various takes on it. And so they liked what I was doing. They had, feedback on it. Yeah, so there you go. This was kind of like that. This was kind of like my samurai, right? Like I'm a samurai version.
Very Terminator-esque too at the same time.
Yeah, and that actually became a note in the second meeting that we had. So we, basically you submit on Friday, you have a meeting on Monday to talk about it. And so Adam came in with the writers and the production designer, and they flipped through all the images and talked about what they liked, and they responded. They responded to it.
Wow.
And what they liked was, that I had shown the mechanics. And that was one thing that jumped out to them.
Sure.
And so they had a few asks, which was like they wanted something different with the hands. They felt that there were too many plates or plating because that to them felt like very Transformers.
Okay.
So avoiding the Michael Bay language was a big note. And that would be a big note for many years on any robot project, not Transformers.
Sure.
And so that was it. And I was just trying to present as many looks at this one because I only had a week to do one design. I was gonna try and put as much out there as I can. Well, here,
Sure.
This was a work in progress that I stopped kind of midway through. Because I was running out of time. I was like, there's no way I'm getting another version of this thing. So you can see it's kind of like half done.
Yeah.
Here's one with more metallic scaling. I have to present as many ideas as possible in as little time as possible.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I mean, they liked it, and they were they were happy with it. Everything. Their asks were like. They wanted the teeth to be a part of the mouth. So they didn't want separate teeth, and and they wanted something different. They wanted a different silhouette. They wanted different hands, something at the end of his tail, and I think that was it. There you go. And they also wanted to see the silhouettes side by side because they're fighting in dust and smoke and
sure.
And so they wanted to make sure that the reads were very different.
Right.
And so that's why in the left-hand corner you can see here's Godzilla's silhouette. Here's Mecha's silhouette. They look different. You know, they don't feel the same.
Sure.
So I just went to opposites. Because in that second meeting, John Rosengrant, who is one of the co-heads of Legacy, worked on like Terminator and Predator and, you know, all these movies. This thing needs to be a Terminator. Yeah. And after he said that, after the meeting was over, I went down into the lobby because they had a Terminator maquette. And I just like stood in front of it for like, it must have been like 5-10 minutes where I just kind of like drank in the essence of the Terminator.
Yes.
And so you can start seeing like those influences starting to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like they decided to blow up Mecha Godzilla's scale a little bit more just to dwarf Godzilla too, right? So
that surprised me when I saw it, you know, on screen. So it was cool. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, but this you know what, like I remember like when the promotion was going for this movie, and then like the toys come out, the toys, or was it made by Jack Pacific? I can't remember. Mike Monsters.
It was I think it was Playmates.
Yeah, it was Playmates.
Yeah, I think it was Playmates.
Yeah, and like I remember people were like, "What the heck?" You know what I mean? But then like I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna hold my judgment until I see this movie, right?" Because like, you know, like they were holding it in the background. Oh, Mecha Godzilla's in this, and like, no, Mecha Godzilla is in it because like we've seen the toys and stuff like that. Yeah. No, Mecha Godzilla is in it, right? There's no keeping that a secret and things, right?
That was a very terribly kept secret. really, that did not do them any favors.
Yeah.
But I mean,
go ahead.
He shows up in like the first second of the trailer.
Yeah, like you see it, like oh, that's Mecha Godzilla.
Straight up.
Straight up, yeah. But you know what? Like once I see that movie, once I see the movie and I see him in action, and then I come out of that movie theater, I was like, those toys do not do that this design justice.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like. And then, like, I was like looking forward to getting the SH Monster Arts version. You know what I mean? And I got it right back here too. So let me just get them. Here, right here. Here's your baby, Jared.
Yeah. It's a great toy.
It looks beautiful, you know, but great tail and stuff like that. But like
you customized it too, right?
I customized it too, yes, because like I customized the. You know what I mean? Because like when they released this figure, like it was just all one color. You know what I mean? And I wanted to have like, you know, the grime and stuff like that, like the LED red light coloring and stuff like that to it. You know what I mean? So I felt it was incomplete. You know what I mean? So like, I got my buddy who lives like 2 blocks away from me, who has a store that sells kaijus and stuff like that, right? And he's and he paints this for a living and stuff like that. So yeah, I go, please touch this up, you know what I mean? I want a better, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So like once he gave it to me, I was like, yes, I felt so much better about this figure. You know what I mean? But I have to ask you, because like there's like when we talk about these kind of figures all the time, Jared, and like, you know, for the SH Monster Arts line, like they're known for having like hyper articulation and things like that. You know what I mean? And like with this figure here, like there isn't a lot of articulation. I mean, you can move the arms and the legs and stuff like that, but like on the body itself, it's like all one piece. Like when you were designing this character, this version of Mecha Godzilla, did they tell you like, we have to make toys out of these characters? You know what I mean? Like, was that in my question is like, was it taken into consideration?
Not this time. So you know, the you kind of go in knowing that they're going to make toys. It's a big tentpole movie. And it's Godzilla, so Godzilla and toys, you know, they always go together.
Sure.
So I kind of had an inkling like they would do something with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for that character, there's a lot of statues for the specific one more than there is articulated figures for it. You have really just playmates and monster arts, and that's kind of basically it. Everything else is a statue.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I like Easy Hobby. They're making. They haven't shown anything since, but they're making the Mecha Godzilla that goes with that Godzilla that I showed you, man. And I seen the prototype to that, man, and that thing looks freaking beautiful, man. Yeah, yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
Sure, man. Yeah, like I even told that because I'm friends with the sculptor, the founder of Easy Hobby. I told him that I was talking to you today. He goes, "Oh, that's cool," and I'm going to show him. And I think he might be doing Godzilla Evolve next.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll show you that pretty soon. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool stuff, man. Yeah. So let's continue on. I just want to see more stuff here. Yeah, this is just so.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice, man. Cool. So guys in the chat, like if you guys want to look at more of his stuff, just go to his I think I have it the link in the description section for Jared's website, and you guys can have a look. This is just awesome. And like this right here, I love this pose right here, but like I can't get that pose like with the figure or anything like that, you know what I mean? So yeah, but there is a Prime, I think is a Prime One Studios that has this look or something. I can't remember.
Well, I have the Prime One. It is it's the rising up look though. So it's
yeah.
It doesn't hit the full height.
Yeah. But that, man, I seen those Prime One Studios, man, and they're beautiful figures, man.
It's gorgeous. Yeah,
it's
I love
gorgeous.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So okay. So now let's get to so when did you start working on GXK, and how was working with Adam Wingard? What was that like?
Yeah, GXK came around later after after Godzilla vs. Kong had just released into the theaters. So we're the post-COVID, we're just coming out of the post-COVID era.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it was like later in the year that I got the call that we were coming back.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was going through your mind like when he goes, "Hey man, I want you back on this project." What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, flood of emotions. Everything from like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it," to, I don't know. There was so much going on.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's just elation. It was awesome.
Sure.
Working with Adam was great. Like we picked up and he pitched the entire story to us.
Mm-hmm.
He sat. We sat at Legacy and he pitched the whole story, and he was just really, really excited about the energy that he wanted to put into this. He was, he said, this is our Fast Five moment. We're gonna really push it. We're gonna really go for it. I knew what he meant. Like he meant Showa. That just made sense to me.
Sure.
So he talked about like wanting to go see the toys in the aisle and bright colors and all that stuff. So it was awesome, man. Because Adam's a big kid, and I'm a big kid. So we just we're all 80s babies. So we
sure.
And that I think Adam's a few years older than me, but like we're all 80s babies, and we all just kind of knew intrinsically like what that meant. It was just exciting, and then the shot, I was like, holy crap, Adam's pitching this movie to me. Like, awesome, holy crap. That it was like, we did it, and then I was like his guy,
Awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. It still feels surreal.
So what was like so this time around, like what was he looking for in his version of Godzilla, and like how did you like how many iterations did you go through until you finally arrived to like the what we have now?
I only did about like 2 or 3,
Mm-hmm.
about 3 versions total, where I basically just did the changes that you see right here,
Sure.
and just presented that.
Mm-hmm.
So there really wasn't many iterations beyond this. It was
Mm-hmm.
Toho had notes as well.
Oh, okay.
They have specifics on design for that, like his arms can't be too long because they don't want him to feel human. Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That his coloration can't be too green, or so they did have specifics as far as like how far I could push color.
Okay. Yeah, that's my question. Like, how far could you push it? Yeah.
Yeah, and so I tried sneaking some greens in there, and they slap it down a bit, and that's okay. That's what they want.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, the changes that I made, I really I went in with kind of some restraint, because I'm like, I can't change him too much.
Uh-huh.
And if I change him too much, what can I actually like change?
Yeah.
And so I was surprised they liked everything I did. I was just looking for reasons to make some changes out there.
Sure. What was one thing that you would have liked to have done but wouldn't have gotten approved? Like if you could implement a change that you wanted to see but that didn't get implemented. Is there
I mean, I really like what they went with. So my job is always to like, what can I get you? I'm a waiter, I'm a chef, like
Sure.
how can I serve you? So
Yeah.
if you're happy, I'm happy.
Mm.
But I would have liked some more glow kind of in the beard and spikes.
In the crevices. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But the only thing I wish I had was just more time.
Oh, okay. And like the color, like the that was Adam like, okay, I like this time around, I like when he glows, I don't want him to be blue, I want him to be pink. Was that like very early on? Or
No, we didn't really explore much of that.
okay.
Yeah, I don't even think I did any like blasts, blasting shots and like firing off, because they also have a lot of illustrators as well. So as I'm designing, they're doing illustrations
Sure.
with it. So yeah, I really didn't explore much of that. I did do a little bit of like coloration of glow. So like here he is glowing, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, he looks really cool.
Yeah, and
really cool.
the translucent spikes was a hit. They really liked it, and that was just one of my first ideas. I'm like, well, I knew he was going to be shedding or changing through the movie.
Yeah,
but I thought it would be cool to see the translucent spikes, and I was looking at Millennium for that too.
Oh, okay.
There's that language.
Godzilla 2000-esque.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I was trying to mimic some of the flame shapes in his spikes and so
yeah. I'll be honest. Like when I first saw like the first images and stuff like that, like the pink threw me off, because like I mean, like every time when I think of Godzilla, I think of like his power being blue. You know what I mean? And then like it took me quite a bit to get around to liking it, but like once I saw it in the theater, I was like, oh yeah, this thing rocks a lot.
Yeah. And
the
pink surprised me too when I saw it in the trailer. I was like, oh wow.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And so it surprised me, and it was it was a cool surprise, and given that everything Adam had told me, I was like, oh, of course he would, of course he would go pink, and I think it was a bold choice.
It was, yeah. And then like it's like the most successful Godzilla movie to date.
Yeah.
So congratulations, brother.
Bonkers, right?
You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve every bit, man. Yeah, this is fantastic, man.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the only one that you designed. You also did Scar King.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you tell us like what was like some of the things that like they told you to look for in making this character?
Yeah, I had pretty much free reign to do whatever I wanted. So the only thing that I knew is that he was going to have kind of reddish fur, and that he was going to be kind of the big bad against Kong.
Yeah.
And so really I didn't do a lot of exploration in the way of like, I'm going to really try a bunch of crazy shit. It like, the big hair was crazy, right? Like that was a push.
Yeah.
And I, when I was doing that, I was just thinking like, oh man, what if he had just this big shape, just something crazy. Again, because like he had, Adam had given us permission to just kind of go for it.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I was just thinking, who is Kong? And what is the opposite of Kong?
Yeah, like an anti-Kong. Yeah, because he's never had an anti-Kong. Like Godzilla has an anti-Godzilla, but Kong has never really had an anti-Kong. Yeah.
Yeah. He's never had a nemesis before, and so I just remember thinking, okay, Kong is stocky. He's strong, and blocky shapes. He's heroic, and so I just wanted the opposite of that, so what's the opposite of strong and stocky is lean and skinny. And I thought it would be interesting if he had maybe a reach advantage on Kong.
Okay.
So I was looking at like gibbon skeletons because proportionally their arms are really long to their body.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be a really interesting, and I pitched this to Adam in the room, is like you could play with some really interesting shapes.
Yeah.
That way, when he's sitting on the throne and his arm is all the way up, and it's just really cool. And as well, we had the Jungle Book, and King Louis's design was amazing for that.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
So I distinctly remember going like, well, I can't do King Louis. I can't do that. So I was like, what is something that I can do? And the patchy fur was another, thing. He couldn't he couldn't be handsome. You wouldn't want to like root for this guy. I knew that he had some guards working for him.
Yes.
And that was kind of my starting motivation for it.
Yeah, because he's like basically a mafia boss, like in the Hollow Earth. You know what I mean? So that's his power. Like physically, he can't go toe to toe with Kong, but he does. But like the way I interpret it in the movie is like, okay, like he doesn't look, all that menacing to Kong, because like Kong looks like, oh, I'll roll you, but
exactly.
Fighting, he was like, oh my god, like this guy's crazy.
Yeah, he's bonkers.
Yeah,
and that's a credit to Adam, is he put a lot of characterization into Scar King.
Yeah.
And he people loved his personality.
I liked his personality a lot. You know what I mean? And then like when he was like fighting Kong, and then like, okay, I had enough of this guy. Like he's like, he's clearly much stronger than me. Okay, I'm gonna bring out my secret weapon, and that's Shimo. Like, man, like especially like the anti-gravity fights. That was crazy stuff, man. This like, you know what, like it was so. I was like, man, this is like the modern day Showa. You know? What I mean?
Yeah.
It had so much charm to it, man. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah,
I remember when they were telling me about that sequence, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be nuts. It's just gonna be fun, good craziness.
Sure. Yeah, and these are like his henchmen too, right? Like
those were just more exploration for him.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I did do a few passes of like, okay, here he is really bald. Here's a mohawk. Here's like bottom left is crazy eyes.
Yeah.
And then bottom right, I really pushed the again, I pushed like a lot of the lip and the crate, really trying like some Joker kind of personalities.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And then Suko.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know what? I was like,
sorry, my dog needed to go.
Oh, okay. I was kind of surprised to see how Kong's relationship with Suko started. You know what I mean? Because like you don't feel that in the trailer until you see it, and then like he ragdolls him in the movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he didn't tell me he was going to do that.
Oh, he didn't, eh?
Oh no, and I think that was something that one of the animators, or it might have been the animator or the maybe he pitched it to the suit actor.
It was kind of improvised from what he told me. Yeah.
Oh.
Like the producers wanted to cut it out, but they were like, "No, let's commit to this." And then the test screening really solidified it.
Yeah, they were really happy. and
so good.
And I swear to God, seeing him get just like absolutely wrecked, it was.
Yeah. So this question here, was Scar King his father? It was his father, yeah? Because like I remember like in the movie in the background, he had like sex slaves. There's one shot like he had like sex slaves there.
Back there. Yeah. He's got some yeah. So they never told me that, of course.
Oh yeah, they didn't, eh?
No, I know very little information. They only give you just as much as you need to get going.
Okay.
I think there's partially they don't want you to know everything.
Okay.
Things change, and then partially because they don't want us to know.
Right. Cool. So now let's get to. I think this character was a big hit with the audience, Shimo. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about her creation? Like how did you approach this one?
Yeah, Shimo took the longest out of everybody. So it was like Scar King, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Suko, boom, boom, boom. Godzilla, right. Boom, boom, boom. Shimo was hard. Yeah, Shimo was really challenging. And largely, we, again, didn't have much information other than Ice Godzilla, right?
Oh, really?
What does that look like? Yeah. And that could mean a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just remember being like, oh my God, I'm not hitting this thing. I'm not getting it. Why?
Yeah.
Not and it's just because I couldn't see it yet. And sure. So I went through probably about 40 iterations, different things. Some were very crocodilian. Some were. It was just a wide. I was just throwing everything at it. I was like, sure. Okay, how about this? How about this? How about this? And I only knew that it was supposed to be quadruped, but could stand up if needed.
Sure.
And so I got to about midway through. I did some iterations that had like ice horns.
Sure.
And so I did one coming right out of the nose.
Oh.
And Adam stopped on that one, and he's like, I really like this shape right here. And he stopped and he's like, yeah, there's something about this shape and the tiny eye that I really like. And I went, okay, cool. So we kind of locked the face down, and then the rest of it was playing with like the spikes.
Sure.
Because we liked the kind of body type and the proportions, and it could feel like kind of polar bearish. That was kind of my initial inspiration, was like polar bear and Komodo dragon, right? Like something that could live on an icy tundra, but also beat the snot out of Godzilla.
Yeah, very interesting, man. Yeah.
But again, like when she's on screen, it's awesome, and you can't help but like kind of watch her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Very cool. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Like his like the head here, like when I first saw this, it was like, oh, it looks like it's got a shark head, like a bit of a shark head. Like a shark with a body of a dog, like a spiky dog. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. She was truly a chimera. There's a lot of different influences in there.
Sure. Cool. And we're gonna get to like some of the figures a little in a bit, like the SH Monster Arts and the Haya toys. I'm assuming you've seen all those, and I just want to get your reactions on all those there. So.
Oh, they look great. Give them to me.
Yeah. Cool.
Give me. I love all of it. It's cool.
That's cool, man. Yeah. I mean, it's your work, right? So like, I totally understand. And you know what? Like, knowing you personally now, and like now I have like this background, I have this understanding, like where your thought process comes from. I am more interested. Like I have on pre-order the SH Monster Arts version and the Haya version. You know what I mean? Right. So like, and they're distinctly different. You know what I mean? In terms of like details and stuff like that, they're distinctly different, but like we'll talk about it in a minute. I'm excited to get your input on those, you know what I mean? But we'll get to that.
Sure.
So Shimo took the longest to create.
That's right. Wow. Yeah, cool. It was by the time like we got around to the end of it, I was like, okay, I could see who the character was. In a way, it's kind of like casting. I'm trying to find the right character and for this role, and trying to imbue some like personality or some soul into the design. So I'm super proud of how it came out. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. So Godzilla King of Kaiju is asking, was Godzilla evolved an influence for Shimo? I'm noticing that both of them have a bulky upper chest, but as you're looking down at them, their lower body gets narrower.
Yeah, I mean, it was a coincidence. I wasn't specifically like, they're gonna look alike. That's not how I was kind of going in. I was just treating Shimo as its own thing.
I see. Okay.
Same with Godzilla. I definitely had them together in the scene.
Yeah.
But if I had more time, I probably could have changed some things.
Okay. Cool. So, in your profession, okay, what are some do's and don'ts in your profession, Jared?
Well, do's are, deliver on time, under budget, and over deliver. So you got to blow them away, kind of right out the gate.
Sure.
Don'ts would be there's a quote from Twitter, and I don't have it offhand, but it was don't defend, deny, or debate. When you're getting notes, because it's not about you, it's about the director, it's about their vision.
Sure.
So your role is not to negate the director's vision. You have to work with them and be collaborative and listen to make sure that they're getting what they want. So if you deny them, that they get prickly about that, or debate, they're not interested in your opinion, they're interested in their opinion.
Sure.
Or defend, deny, or debate. So really just don't argue with anybody. When they give you notes or feedback, you say, absolutely, you got it. Like what else can I do for you? How much, You know, what am I going to do? You know, what can I do to get you to walk away with this kaiju right here? You know, this is the thing you want. So you're kind of like you're selling them, and you're negotiating, and you're listening, and then you know everything you do has to be on the page as well, because you know I might not be there to defend or say like, well, it could be this or this or this. You know, they have to look at the design and be like, oh, I can see that. You know.
Yeah. So here's a question. So what about the Thagomizer? Is it an influence from Godzilla Evolved?
That's Adam. He wanted Godzilla to have a Thagomizer and the elbow spikes, and he wanted that for Shimo too. He's like, I want a Thagomizer for Shimo too. And Simon Weber, who was also doing Shimo versions, he had designed the spiked tail. Adam was like, I like that tail, put that on Shimo. and that was it.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Jared, for those young aspiring artists, they're watching you right now and they're like considering, oh, maybe I want to follow your career path. What advice can you offer those young artists, and what do they need to learn, and what can they do to get their foot in the door?
Yeah, because I teach on top of all this as well. So young artists, it's just a different time now than it was a few years ago. With the rapid pace of technology, we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I would say if you've already made the leap into being an artist, you have to go all the way anyway, right?
Sure.
Because doing it is so stupid that you might as well go whole ass in, you know,
sure.
And really commit. And so that means you have to learn your anatomy. It means you need to learn the fundamentals. You have to, but be a really good artist to compete in this field. And then on top of that, you need to network. You need to market and promote yourself because no one else is going to do that for you. So being visible on top of that, whatever your platform is, Instagram, TikTok, blah, 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 being visible, posting frequently, things like that. And then go meet people, go to conventions, go to signings or meet your artists and get their feedback too. You just got to listen to everybody and take it all in.
That's cool.
Yeah, and get to know the community. It is a small community of artists. Everybody knows everybody, and they've all worked together. You know. That's
cool. That's very cool.
Be a good person.
Yes. Yeah. That's a golden rule.
That's like a golden rule. Yeah. Be cool to work with, man. Like no one wants an egomaniac. No one wants an asshole.
Especially in our space.
Yeah, I mean, and the world is too small, and there's too many artists. So, like, why would I want to work with this guy if he's being a jerk to everybody? It's not cool. Like, you always want to be happy and excited that you're working on, big stuff. So, yeah, like mindset and personality, those things are important to cultivate as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Party on, my dudes.
Yeah, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Being an artist is stupid.
It is very stupid.
It's so stupid, but we do it to ourselves when we're good at it, and it's so fulfilling. But it's also like it's been slow months for me over here. It's like, why did I choose this?
Yes.
But then at the same time, when it's hitting, it's hitting, and it feels great, and you're like, this is why I did this. But there are times where it's like, man, art and being an artist is so stupid.
The highs are really high and the lows are really low.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I've had plenty of ups and downs in this life. So, You have to take them as they come and keep moving forward.
You got to endure and be persistent.
100%. That's the biggest thing is just persistence.
Yeah.
And stubborn persistence, and maybe just a dash of delusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
To be just delusional enough to think that you can make it work.
Awesome. Cool. So let's talk about figures. All right. And wait, hold on a second. Let me just get to this. So Jared, what design was the most fun for you to work on? Sorry for if you've already asked this.
No. They're all fun. It's kind of like it's like pick your babies, because Godzilla, obviously, I'm working on Godzilla, so I was just floating into the office every day because it was just so I'd be like, what am I doing today? Oh, this is Godzilla, and then the massive weight of Godzilla would weigh down on me. And then but most fun was Shimo. I think as hard as Shimo was, I got to flex the muscle, and try a lot of things, which does, if you nail it like one off, you're like, cool, great, nailed it. But if you don't, it forces you to think, and your brain gets like exhausted. You're just tired because you've been trying everything, and you're like, if I dig just a little bit harder, that idea is in there. So the greatest challenge yielded the most reward, and now I've got like Shimo on my desk, it's rad.
Cool. So have there ever been any creatures you've designed for these films that ultimately ended up being cut out?
Yeah, there's a few things that I worked on in both movies that were cut. And I wish I could show that work, but I can't, because it would be cool. It'd be really, really cool. But they are tight-lipped about like what you can show and what you can't show, and you never know. They might save them for later, but it's always a bummer when you hear that they're cut, because you're like, I was just hoping, you want to get another minute.
Cool. Alrighty. So let's talk about figures. And just recently, they announced the Godzilla X Transformers collab. So, I like Transformers and things, and I like Godzilla. But what are your thoughts on here? Let me show you a picture.
I hadn't even seen this yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So here is.
They announced this?
Just like
2 days ago.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So this is Megatron, but Megatron is Godzilla.
Okay.
All right. Kyle made a video on his channel about this, and he wasn't too happy about this.
I gotta, first impressions, I gotta agree. It's just a Grimlock reskin. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And then you gotta go a little harder than that.
Yeah. And let me show you the Optimus Prime. So this is supposed to be the Kiryu. Okay. And like, when it comes to these collabs, like, I know like Hasbro is going to do this. They do this all the time. You know what I mean? So it doesn't surprise me at all, but like, you see? So, there's nothing Kiryu about this Optimus.
Dude. I don't even know what they're like. Okay.
Yeah. So
it's so underwhelming compared to the Jurassic Park ones.
Yeah. Like, I'm hoping that we do see, actually like engineered figures that look like Godzilla and then transform. Like, I found these concept arts from somebody. I don't know who it was, but let me show you guys. And I hope they do this. Let me show you. Hold on a second. Look at this. Like, if they did this, I'd be happy.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Super happy.
Are those old Matt Frank artworks?
I don't know if this is Matt Frank or not. Like,
those look so familiar.
It looks like Matt Frank's art, right? But I don't know. But like, this is what they should go for. You know what I mean? I hope.
Why are they not doing that? Why is it not Beast Wars? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on, guys?
Yeah. So I would, you know what? Like, I would love for them to do like, a standard 6-inch, but also Titan class.
Yeah.
Getting a Titan class transformable Godzilla, that'd be incredible.
As big as Unicron, baby. The bigger, the better.
Ooh, man. Let me show you. There's more. Let me show you.
Wait, there's more.
There's more. There's more. Hold on a second. There's more. This is Rodan. You're about to see Rodan. Look at that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. Absolutely cool.
Yeah, hire the kid.
Yeah, whoever did this, yeah.
Put him in, coach.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they get around to doing something like this, you know what I mean? Because like I would definitely go all in for this. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a win-win.
Yeah. That Mothra looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I remember seeing these a couple of years ago. Who did this?
Kaiju Formers. Yeah.
No.
This is why I encourage every artist to make sure that your signature is on it.
Yeah.
So know who to type into Google. You wouldn't believe like they want to hire you and then you don't put your name on the work.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can't give credit to this person because like I found these and like I don't know who it's from.
You can reverse Google search, but like, yeah, put your name on it.
Yeah, I mean, look at this Ghidorah. It's friggin'
yeah. If his arms were the hands, that's sick.
Yeah, totally.
Give me that. I want it. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping. I don't know how long this license is going to be, but this is what I'm hoping for, that they get around to doing like what they did with the Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? So like they do that. So
that would
it might just be for the 70th anniversary special kind of thing. There's a lot of tie-ins and collabs going on right now. So
I see. Yeah. So
it might be a one-off.
Oh, right. So Jared, this is coming from Omega Beast. So this is just the silhouette, but this is Godzilla Evolved.
Yeah, there it is.
And KN Lin, who's the sculptor and founder, he did post on his Facebook that this is going to be the biggest one, the biggest Omega Beast, he said. So it's going to be bigger than the one I have already. I'm like,
holy
oh my God. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
You're going to have to move again. You're going to have to get a new place again, Harold.
Or
knock down another wall.
Yeah.
Or kick somebody, or kick, or I can't say that. Oh man, yeah, man, exciting stuff. There's like a lot of cool stuff coming. And recently, Haya did show off their stylus series of Shimo. So I want to show you. Have you seen that one yet, Jared?
I think I saw this one.
Okay, let me show you. Yeah. That looks fantastic, and like you can see, like there's like the bit of the pearlescence on this figure. If you look at the arm, you can see that, and like there's so much detail to this thing. Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, you gonna pick this up?
Oh hell yeah! I make it a point to buy all the toys of things that I've designed because.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got it.
They should just be sending them to you.
They should.
They should.
They should. For
sure. Some have. A few have, and I got to thank Chris for that. Because he pesters them for me.
Yeah, you're getting this one too. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah,
I think they already know that they're sending to you because you're gonna, you're gonna review it for the site. So I figure why not.
I almost feel bad for all these toy companies because like every time a new Godzilla movie comes out, they're like, shit, we got to send them to Jared. Yes, you do. You have to send them to me.
Yes. So let's look at first the SH Monster Arts figure, and I want to get your thoughts on this one. This right here. So we've speculated that this is like early concept.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. Early mock-ups or stuff like that.
So what's
this
missing?
Will be in our Monster Arts interview that's going to be coming out soon with the head of Monster Arts, but it is based off of concept art, but it is hand sculpted from the ground up.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is like your earlier design for this before. Is that correct?
It does look a little earlier. I don't know why the mouth is so far back. But you can see they have like the hip spikes, which they didn't do for the movie. It just kind of it all goes streamlined, and then the spikes on the tail look a little weird to me too. It might look better from different angles.
Well, they're also articulated so they can move.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can pose it bad or you can pose it good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the mouth is on two separate pieces as well, so it's not connected as one headpiece.
Yeah.
So the upper mouth can open, and then they're independent of each other for the lower jaw and the upper jaw.
Okay.
Cool.
That's kind of how I built it anyway. How I built my concept models.
Cool.
Yeah. There's no inner mouth webbing on this figure as well.
Okay.
And I don't think in the concept art that they were given that it ever showed the open mouth either. So this is up to the artist's interpretation of, how it probably would have looked.
Yeah.
Because these guys, they made this figure over a year ago.
Yeah.
When it was being in production.
Yeah, they're like in the middle of it,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So, and this is the articulated version. This is the Haya.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Eh?
And they use the 3D modeling.
Yeah.
When's this one out?
Yeah, I am seeing like a little bit of like reflection like on these bigger plates over here on the leg, that it is slightly a bit pearlescent in some areas of this figure. Yeah.
I think pearlescence is hard to capture on camera. It's something that's easier to see when you have it in hand. Because when I was even at the Comic-Con, you could see that pearlescent look on the Shimo figure. But when I was taking photos, it just looks white.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's get to Godzilla Evolved. So let's look at the SH Monster Arts version and tell us your thoughts. This is your baby right here. Yeah. So
I love it. Yeah. Gimme. It looks great.
Yeah. So are you picking? I guess someone's gonna. Chris will send this to you too.
Not Monster Arts. They don't share.
Yeah, they don't want to share these days.
It's a little tough right now with over that way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But but is this pretty much dead on?
Yeah. I mean, it looks really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It looks like they have more of the translucent spikes around the eye ridges.
So it's a lighting trick. There's no translucent parts on this figure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's just all paint.
Yeah.
Huh.
This figure uses 3D data, and it uses Yuji Sakai's. He went in and touched it up after they used the 3D data.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Cool. So let's look at the Haya version now. And I'm waiting. I'm really looking forward to this one solely because like Haya figures are a scale up. You know what I mean? So like they're 7 inches, in scale, whereas SH Monster Arts are 6-inch scale figures. But this one looks sharp too. Look at this.
Yeah. And I think the paint really highlights the details too. It's like all that edge work.
Oh, okay.
It looks like crisper.
I think this one's been updated too since these promos came out. There there was some photos that were at a recent show over there in, I think, Taiwan, and it doesn't quite look the same as this one. The proportions look more closer to the Monster Arts figure now.
Like that elbow spike is like mid forearm.
Yeah, it's a really low elbow spike.
Low, yeah.
A little further back.
Yeah. Okay. But it still looks phenomenal.
It's still great.
Yeah.
Still want it.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I mean, collecting this hobby is, it's just meant for fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, why?
Never ending.
Yeah. And then big news dropped this week on Super Godzilla. So let's look at this. So I know Michael's very excited about this.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would be more excited if it was an SH Monster Arts.
Me too.
I would too. Yeah, I would be too.
But any kind of Super Godzilla rep, I will grab it.
Yeah, it's crazy that this thing exists.
Yeah. Cool. Jared, are you a Super Godzilla? Did you play Super Godzilla when you were a kid, or no?
No, I never did.
Yeah, no, that I never saw that game come out in Canada either. Yeah. So, yeah, like they had the NES game,
Okay.
Yeah, NECA made the figure of that one a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? From the NES days.
Okay.
Yeah, but it looks pretty cool. So like I didn't know. Michael filled me in because I've never. Oh, he's got bagging. Hold on a second.
Yeah. So this is the big bad he fought in the game.
That's cool.
The monster that has not aired or been on an official movie, but it's been in Godzilla.
Yeah.
So it made it come back that way, and I think that's the reason why we're seeing these figures come back too.
Yeah.
Or these characters, I mean. So, but this is the movie version of Bag-N-No, not the video game version. The suit that
the movie,
was,
the movie that never came out.
Yeah, so this is like the suit that was going to be used for it, but that's what it's modeled after, and it's really good for a vinyl figure. It's fantastic. Yeah. It's very well detailed.
He's got a bit of the knife head in the front.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's the original knife head.
Yeah, the OG.
Man.
Yeah, and the bull horns.
Yeah, so it's funny because they took this design and then they just kind of made Destroya after that. They modified it. Because there's a lot of similarities, like right here in the front,
Oh, okay.
There's some similarities that were taken from this silhouette.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
See the genesis of Destroya in there.
And that's like with Super Godzilla inspired Space Godzilla.
Yes. Yeah.
Super Godzilla was out in Super Godzilla was out in 93, and then Space Godzilla came out in 94. So they just took Super Godzilla's concept art and they added a bunch of crystals all over it. And they're like, hey, Space Godzilla.
Yeah.
That's the nutshell version of it, right?
Yeah. Cool. Very cool, man.
Cool.
Very cool. So more stuff to come. Like I have to I gotta go to my buddy's store to pick up Mogera, the new one, the dock version.
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you have that one yet though, Michael, in hand or no?
No, I picked up, so I made it so that I'm getting the new Rathalos and the new Mogera at the same time, so I have to wait until Rathalos comes out, which is today in Japan.
Okay.
Or is it today? Yeah, I think it's today. What today is? No, tomorrow. It comes out tomorrow. So that'll be here next week for both of them.
Cool. Very nice. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we've covered everything already. We hit I asked you all the questions that I wanted to ask you, Jared. Any thoughts? Any final thoughts here or anything?
Oh man, no. I mean, this was the experience of getting to do all these things has been so cool, and then being in the fandom and then going to G-Fest and all these things. It's just been awesome, and everyone's been just really cool. So it's been a really amazing experience overall.
What was G-Fest like for you? I never heard. You never told me.
Oh, well, I mean, it's it was great. I'd kind of like go downstairs and walk around for a little while and Occasionally people would stop me and talk to me for a little bit or things like that. Or so yeah, I mean it was cool. The experience of like being stopped and then like recognized is still new for me, because that is a new sensation. And so like people know who I am and they're like, hey man, and so that's like all new for me.
That's good, man.
Yeah, but it's really cool because they share their passion with me, and they share their excitement, and that definitely feeds the beast. So I love it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
One thing that was fun was doing the premiere with you and Michael.
Yeah, the premiere was awesome, man. The premiere was just
sad day for me.
Yeah.
It was so
sad day for
I
us.
was like 2 people
So
away from the
close.
line. They cut me off and they were like, yeah, we gave out too many tickets.
We
And I was
overbooked,
like,
sorry.
I have a wristband. You gave me a wristband.
Yeah.
Got all dressed up and went down to Hollywood and couldn't even get in. And I was like seeing you guys from across the street. I could see you guys.
Oh no.
No!
It was just like
You're just like, hey.
Yeah. Everybody's partying and I'm over here like crying across the street next to some giant monster trucks.
texting me saying, bring me some popcorn.
Yes. I was like, I'm almost there. I'll be there soon. And then all of a sudden, I'm not getting in.
Yeah. That was a trip right there. I'm like, all right, I'll see you inside. And then I was like, oh, didn't make it in. I was like, oh.
I got there 3 hours early. Anyways, Chris, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. No, Jared and I back in February did an interview for a Japanese TV show. You guys remember? And it was all set up, and I had like ripped my back at like something at the gym, and it was on like just fucking icy hot and shit. I was not feeling it when I got out of the car, and it was raining and stuff, and they put us in front of the camera. I was just so out of it, and Jared's answering the questions all eloquently, like, "What do you think, Chris?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like what he said, man. I don't know. And I don't know when it aired, but he got to meet Yamazaki that night, which was really
that's
cool.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture, man. That must have been awesome. Yeah. Have you gone to Japan before, Jared?
No, I never have. I've
really
my bucket list. Gotta go.
Oh man, I go like almost every year. Like I'm actually going. I have my plane tickets to go this November for Godzilla Day, so I can't wait for that, man.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah, I feel awesome, so I do want to go visit.
Yeah, you definitely should. Yeah, like it's cool. And Taiwan is a nice place to visit too. Like if you ever come out this way too, man, you let me know. Yeah, very cool. So, I was gonna ask you
before we go. Sorry, I'm not used to live chat. I keep interrupting everybody.
Okay.
Jared, O'Shea texted me, wanted to say hi to you.
Oh, hey!
During the stream, he just wanted to say hi. I don't know.
Hey, what's
That's what
up?
the text says. Anyway, sorry for that interruption.
That's okay. Have you worked on other MonsterVerse films or only GXK?
Just GVK and GXK. So Versus Kong was my first kind of opportunity working on those movies.
Have they started production on the new one yet or not?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's probably in the very, very early pre-production phases at this point. You know, they got the director now, so I'm sure it won't be too long until they get.
2027.
2027.
Oh yeah, 27 now. Yeah, that's what it was.
And you haven't been contacted for that, no?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Waiting on a phone call.
I don't know if he could tell you if he did.
Yeah. Even if I did, I wouldn't be able to say.
Okay. That's cool. That's very cool. All right. So guys in the chat, do you guys have any other questions that you want to ask Jared?
I am open book.
You are an open book.
They're thinking.
Yeah. Jared, I have a question for you. Krichevsky, what background is that? Is that Polish or?
Yeah, we think Polish Russian. it's really hard to trace the lineage of the name because we don't know if it was shortened from something that was longer. So there is a town in Belarus called Krichev, and so we think the name originates back there. So, but my grandfather on my dad's side was Russian, and he escaped from Russia when he was 13 years old. Went through the East, because he didn't want to be conscripted into the army. So he traveled east and hooked up with some circus folk, and he's got crazy stories.
Wow.
Yeah.
So here's a childish Landino. What other monsters would you want to design outside of the Godzilla franchise?
Yeah, I mean, like everything. Romulus just came out, and I was just kind of, I wish I got to work on that, but no, man, I shoot, you name it, and I'd probably die to work on it. But I some more mods. I mean, like Creature from the Black Lagoon. Like if I could hit some Universal monsters, that would also be amazing.
I'm surprised that hasn't been a remake yet. Out of everything that's out there, like that's the only one that really hasn't been touched. There've been rumblings, but it's never.
But
yeah. I was just watching a documentary on it last night, going, "Why hasn't this actually been remade yet?"
I think they haven't found a way to bring it home yet.
Yeah. So other than the obvious Mecha Godzilla and Godzilla, did you take any inspiration from other Toho monsters for any aspects of any of your designs?
Not specifically. So when I'm looking at when they're asking me to do Mecha Godzilla, I'm looking at all Mecha Godzillas. So all that influences in there. Or when I worked on Godzilla, it was I was looking at all the Godzillas. Past and present, just to see like what could I pull from, because as a fan I like to pull from things in the past that nod to the that are winks and nods to those things. So I'm always looking, always trying to adapt it,
because like people think that, like getting to this comment here, people think that the Godzilla 2000 influence is heavily there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I looked at Millennium a lot. So from the purple tips to the spikier ridges, and even Millennium has a slight tummy tuck. So a lot of Millennium was fed into in through it.
Cool. And my friend Manjazilla, he asks, is there any favorite kaiju movie or monster movie you have?
Well, I love all of them. I don't know if Tremors counts as a kaiju movie, but
it counts.
It counts. Okay, good. Tremors counts.
In my opinion, it does.
Yeah, I mean, like I love. I grew up in the '80s, so like Critters.
Critters.
I love that movie.
Oh, that brings me back.
Yeah. I saw in the comments Monster Squad. That was one of my favorites.
That was great. That was a great movie.
Yeah. I'm making, my kid likes watching it now. So it's like, so yeah, all of those I would, I just love.
You worked on Rampage.
Yeah. I worked on Rampage. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like?
Oh, it was fun, man. Like nothing I did got through. So that was like a show where I was like, I'm putting out good work, and it's just not, it's just not connected with the director. But all my buddies who I was, working on it with, they got their stuff through, and I was just so happy for them. So that's one of those, like, sometimes you win it, sometimes you don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you go to the premiere to that one, or
no?
I did.
They do not invite artists unless Marvel. Unless you're Marvel. Marvel does invite a lot of artists.
Oh, had I known you then, you would have gone with me. I went to that one too.
But getting to go to GXK, that was amazing. That never happens.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that work in a movie, right? So when they go to the premiere, it's usually at the above the line that go. It's not so much the below the line.
Right. Right.
So it's
Yeah.
a rare treat when we get to go.
And I'm at the beginning of production. It's like not even until 3 years later that I might see the movie. You know?
Yeah.
So they forget about you.
Yeah. So if you could work on one more Toho monster, which monster would that be?
Well, there's my top two, but I'll say Hedorah because I love Hedorah. I have this was one of the things that I picked up from G-Fest. Was one of these guys. There you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I have ideas about what I would do for him.
Very cool.
Are you familiar with the 2004 version of it too?
What
Final Wars version of it?
No, I don't think I've seen that.
I'll grab it.
I'm
And
sure.
I can show you it. Because that's the show. That's our show version of it. Just so you can see what they did. So this is the 2004
Okay.
version of it.
Yeah. He lost a little bit of the bulk.
Yeah, I mean, it's also at the same time, it's a movie monster
toy,
series figure. So,
Well, they
but
slimmed
there's,
down a lot
I
of
mean,
the suits in that
the
movie.
silhouette is simplified a lot.
Yeah.
The eyes are different shapes now on one side versus the other.
Huh.
One's like a big circle now, and the pipes. It's got little pipes back here where smoke comes out now, and then the one up in the front. So, but that's pretty much the 2004 era, and it actually wasn't in the movie that long. It was only in the movie for like a split second, and then they reused the suit again for a short film.
For Godzilla.
So it was actually in there. Yeah, Godzilla Day. What was it? The fourth festival or the third? I think it was the third one, right?
The third, I think.
Yeah. So they reused it, and it had a lot more action scene in that. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's the 2004 version.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Very nice.
Only two versions of it exist in the history.
Yeah.
And then you got comic interpretations.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of comics, what what kind of comics were you reading up when you were reading growing up?
DC, Marvel, all of those. I was really big into Image Comics, Spawn and the Max. I was a huge Max fan, so I went through hell and high water trying to collect those 21 issues. So
Cool.
yeah. So I really liked a lot of Images stuff.
Yeah.
They were kind of the underdog, You
have a favorite movie, like all-time favorite movie?
All time, it's I'll say in the top 5, but like Total Recall with Schwarzenegger. That movie had a profound effect on me because it's so messed up. So I remember that one, and then I would say Tremors again. Still one of my favorite movies. And then I would put Cronenberg's Fly up there.
Yeah.
Because that one is also one that has stuck with me for a very long time.
Yeah, my one of my all-time favorites is RoboCop.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old and I snuck into the movie theater to watch that movie because you know what I mean. It was rated R film, first rated R film.
You go see RoboCop.
Yeah. So, Childless Lendino asks, did you read the Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong comic? Cool to see Lex Luthor pilot your Mecha Godzilla. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually read it for the first time at G-Fest because my co-panelist wrote it. So I like a dork. I was like, "Can you sign this for me?" But oh man, like I love DC Comics. Like Batman and DC is like my jam. So
for me,
same for me. Like on Marvel side, I always read X-Men, but on DC side, man. So to see Mechagodzilla is kind of like a part of the DC universe. That's like bucket list stuff, man. Like it was awesome. And then Lex Luthor. he's the biggest bad. I love it. You know.
Yeah, that whole comic series is pretty cool. And now Marvel's doing like a crossover. Are they doing a crossover tour? Or is it just like, I don't know. Like they did show off like some covers not too long ago
of like Godzilla and Kong.
Godzilla and interacting with Marvel characters.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
I don't know if they're actually comics or just covers.
That's my question. Yeah, like I don't know if if it's actual story or it's just like a collaborative covers or something like that. You know what I mean? Because they do that a lot. So yeah. Okay.
They should.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, guys, we've reached the end. And Jared, thank you so much for coming today, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I've learned a lot about like the process that you do and things, and man, your creativity is incredible and it's very inspiring and things. And like, I can't wait to get, the SH Monsters and the high end in my hands. And I'm gonna, as a toy photographer, I'm gonna do those characters justice just for you, brother. All right. So yeah.
Well, thank you for having me on.
And Chris, thank you so much for helping me get in contact with Jared.
You're very welcome.
It's very special. Thank you so much. Yeah. Alrighty.
No problem.
So before we go, Mike Monsters, do you have anything that you're working on? Anything that we can look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still getting over my bout with COVID here, just barely getting out of it. So I'm behind. I have like 3 or 4 videos I've been trying to get done, and then the COVID hit. So I got to catch back up. I got this table behind me that is full of, I can't even get a finger at it. I got a bunch of wrestling figures right there. I can't say who or what, but I'm doing a official collaboration with some wrestling stuff that might be on TV and stuff soon. So that's cool. I'll share when I can, but yeah, I'm just trying to get back on my feet right now.
Cool. All right. Oh, I forgot.
You said
I promised you guys that I was going to do an unboxing of this guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, so let's do that right now. All righty. So Haya sent this to me. Okay, so this is the Godzilla energized figure. So let's take a look. Okay. Open them up. Ooh.
Did you say that?
All right, so this is how he comes packaged. All right, so he's got his 2 little fists over here. All right, so let me take out of his plastic prison and give you guys a look.
Oh wow.
So having this figure in my hand, look, he's awesome. He's beautiful. But like, people have been pointing out, and some people have been complaining that the differences between, the way he looks in the promotional packaging and like having the figure in hand. So like, like having this guy in my hand, he is like more of a teal blue color, and feels good. Like the plastic feels a lot more malleable. I don't know if that's a change or not, or just a change in engineering, but like you can really push the articulation and the posing of the tail, which is pretty nice. Okay. And let me bring out another Godzilla so we can see if there's like any differences, because people have been pointing out that there are. So this is the translucent blue. And if you notice, there is some.
Yeah, his spines are smaller.
Yeah, the spines on this guy is smaller than this, and than this guy here. Yeah.
I wonder why.
I have no idea, but like, if you're not looking for that, then like it's not noticeable. You know what I mean? And until like you hold up your figures, and like you compare them, you know what I mean? But yeah, I wonder if it has anything to do with like, oh, he's transforming or anything like that. I really don't know. Yeah. So Guys in the comments,
It's
what do you
probably it's probably just an updated mold that they just did.
could be? Yeah. So let me get a light just to see how, how translucent it looks. Hold on a second. Alrighty, so I'm gonna turn on my Ulanzi cube. So you see,
He's translucent.
he's translucent, but not in the blue that people are expecting.
I think this figure probably really just looks better in the proper lighting conditions. If you take dark photography with its proper lighting, it probably should pop just as much as the promos were.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I just think when you have it out in just normal lighting, it's not going to look what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Like it's not designed to be out here in normal daylight. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a nighttime variant and charged.
Yeah, like I think it's supposed to be like if you have like a black light, it can reflect or something better or something like that. I don't have a black light, so yeah. So let me just change up the hands. So that's pretty easy. Okay. Never done this live, guys, so I apologize. So now you got the fisticuffs for this Godzilla. I'm gonna punch you in the face. Look at that. Boom. Look at that. Boom.
Put him up with Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did we lose Jared? Oh.
All right, I'll text him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
punch. Yeah.
Punch. Yes. Alrighty. So guys,
I've been seeing people throw out the word mold shrinkage when it comes to this figure for those parts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like looking at various different examples of what mold for injection molds, what shrinkage is. And, a lot of the stuff I'm seeing has severe warping, not something that's just consistent like we're seeing with this. Like it still looks good, right? It's not like it's warped or anything.
Yeah.
So I tend to believe that maybe it's just a different mold than what's been used from before. Especially if it's consistent with like every single figure, like.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty.
I mean, it shouldn't be too surprising either, because Haya has been making their effort to do a new, improve upon existing figures, right? And then with that comes a new mold. So It's not like I don't know. I just tend to believe that it's not really mold shrinkage. I think that's fan theory.
Yeah. It'd be a good question to ask though for like what was like their, I don't know, their thoughts behind like changing like but like again, as I said, like it's not that noticeable like unless like you're looking for it, you know what I mean? So yeah. But it's a good figure, so yeah, I'll be putting up a review in the next couple days. Alrighty.
Jared thought the stream was over, so he bounced.
Oh! Oh no, I was hoping to chat. Oh, here he's back.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, there you are.
He's back.
Yes.
That's all right. That's all right. All right. So, Jared, stay on. I want to talk. I want to chat with you a little bit more off camera.
Sure.
So, guys in the chat, thank you so much for coming on today. This was a lot of fun. Jared, thank you for coming back. All right. Michael, always a pleasure. Mike Monsters, always awesome. And Kyle, happy birthday if you're watching. Okay. Hopefully
Yeah.
He's having the happiest of birthdays right now.
In the dark.
He's in the dark right now, watching on his phone, just going, God damn it.
Yeah. And Chris, thank you so much for everything you've done. And thank you. Just thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Alrighty.
You're very
so
welcome.
Guys, stay on. And I will end the chat. So guys, thank you so much. And I will see you guys at the next live stream. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Later.